As of today, Honkai Star Rail released roughly 3 years ago. This means there is a ton of story and planets to grind. So, I was wondering, how many pulls can a free-to-play get in 24 hours? There must be a lot considering there's 3 years of the content in this game. To answer this question, I challenged myself to play for 24 hours straight without taking any breaks. Opening up the game for the first time, I skip the tutorial and choose a good name for myself. I got my free Dan Hang, the free 20 pulls in the current event, and got Kafka as my free 5-star. You're probably wondering, why did I pick Kafka when I could have picked one of the other 4 DPS characters? Well, there's actually only one good DPS, because the other 3 are kind of bad. Okay, but I actually do have a good reason for getting Kafka. During the version 4.0 update, her entire team was available on the rerun banner, so she was the obvious choice. But moving on, let's talk about what I did while doing the story. My current strategy to get as many pulls as possible was to only get chests or puzzles that were close to the main objective. The only times I would backtrack would be to get trotters because they give a lot of jades per kill. I thought I should mention that whenever you get a new character, always ascend them once or up to level 50 to get the free standard banner pulls. While grinding Bellbog story, I made sure to visit these robots. If you complete their small puzzle, they will lead you to a chest that contains 20 jades. 3 hours into the challenge, I finally finished a Bellbog and unlocked Remember's Trailblazer. And just to keep track of everything, I listed the total amount of chests I have collected from these 2 planets. When I moved to the next planet, I remembered that achievements exist. I probably spent like 5 minutes clicking. I think I got a total of like 6 or maybe 7 pulls. For this planet, I had the same strategy as before, but I also made sure to complete these cubes and the navigation compass. Both of these puzzles give 20 jades and are pretty easy to do. And before I forget, this was the total amount of chests I've collected from this planet. After 5 hours of doing the story, I was already feeling tired. However, with the power of gambling, I am able to motivate myself to keep doing the challenge. I'm using my pulls to get one of the characters needed for the Kafka team. I'm already at Hard Pity, so all I have to do is win this 50-50. Oh wow, look, I finished the second planet and now I can move on to Penacony. Penacony has a lot more stuff to grind when compared to the previous 2 planets, but some stuff is just not worth touching. For example, the Dreamscape Pass and the birds provide almost nothing. Like, what do you mean I had to collect 210 stickers for only 2 to 3 pulls? The birds are slightly better, where finding 10 of them can give 30 jades. However, during the challenge, I didn't even bother to look for them. Moving on, let's talk about what I actually grinded in Penacony. Aside from chests, I made sure to go back for trotters, trash cans, and the clocks. I fully recommend using a guide to see the answers for these 2. To be honest with you, I am very stupid, so having a video guide that shows every step needed to complete them saved me a lot of time. After 10 hours, I finally finished the story for Penacony. I had a lot of credits saved up from doing the story, and I got my reputation up from level 1 to 30. By the way, these were all the chests I've collected from Penacony. Yeah, I missed a lot, and if I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't get any better. Right after finishing Penacony, I was getting tired of doing only story and exploration, so I made the extremely stupid decision of doing Currency Wars. You're probably asking yourself, why is it stupid? Currency Wars has a ton of jades to grind and is a lot of fun to do. That's what I was thinking at first when I was doing this challenge. However, there are 2 big reasons why this was a bad decision. 1, this is a time challenge to get as many jades as possible. The other bad reason is that an average Currency Wars game could take up to 30 minutes to complete. You could probably see why this was bad. And I started to realize this when I was doing the Currency Wars tutorial, which is also 30 minutes long. I want you to guess how many pulls I got in those 30 minutes. It's 1. 1 pull. Yeah, it was a complete waste of time. If you're planning to make a new account to grind on, please save Currency Wars for last. Okay, moving on from that tragedy, let's talk about the next planet, which easily has the most stuff you can grind. Amphoreus easily has the most story and exploration. This planet alone has 20 different areas that you can grind. However, there is one negative about this planet. There are no trotters. Okay, it's not that bad because they replaced them with spirit thieves. This purple guy will steal your chest and you will need to chase them down like a dog to get 40 jades. Despite trotters giving more than these guys, there are 2 to 3 of them per area. On a side note, please make sure to go for the prophecy tablets and the golden scapegoat. Both are extremely easy to do and take less than 30 seconds each, if you do a little bit of cheating. Just like Penacony, there is something I completely avoided: the golden short spear. Because what do you mean I have to chase a spear for a minute for only 5 jades? Yeah, I didn't even bother to do them during the challenge, but if you're playing the game normally, or if you really want the extra pull for doing all of them, I guess it's okay. Oh look, my dailies reset. Oh my god, my dailies reset. Yeah, I started this challenge in the afternoon and now it's 2 in the morning. Seeing the sun go down and rise back up is not the best feeling. This challenge is not good for me, but I'm gonna keep grinding and ignore the fact that I have to grind for 12 more hours. After daily reset and roughly an hour of story, I was able to reach Heart Pity. Again, I know I'm gonna get high slows mainly because I already lost my 50-50 during the first few hours of the challenge. Now that I actually have a decent character for the Kafka team, I can finally do good damage. I'm not joking when I say this, getting this character probably tripled the speed at which I beat story bosses, and it felt like I finally could do some of the endgame. 19 hours in, Amphoreus was completed. I made sure to save both world currencies so that I could show how much I got overall. I got to level 33 just from doing the story and got roughly 1000 Jade. Also, don't forget about the Amphoreus storybook, which gives you a free 10 pull just for doing the story. This book is infinitely better than doing Penacony sticker collection thing, and you can't change my mind. And just like every other planet, this is the total chest. Wait, am I reading this correctly? I missed over 300 chests? In my defense, those chests weren't close to the story. Okay, at the very least, I did make sure to go back for every spirit thief, so it's not too bad. As a side note, make sure to visit Pom Pom whenever you level up to get free stuff. With all the pulls I got from doing Amphoreus and leveling up, I was able to reach Heart Pity. I'm pulling for Evernight because I realized I need to make a second team for Memory of King. I hate this game. Okay, let's just continue on with the challenge. You probably noticed I haven't mentioned Simulated Universe yet. Well, there is a good reason for this. I saved it for last because I want to raise my Trailblaze level before going in. This is so I can skip to a higher difficulty and get more stuff. Most of the Jades I got were from the Index, which gives you free pulls if you discover new stuff in Simulated Universe. Pro tip, if you want to maximize your profits, I recommend only going for occurrence and encounter domains. This is because every new occurrence you get gives you 20 Jade. By the way, don't forget to check out Herda's shop for curios to fill out more of your Index. And if you ever see the shining dice in the store or as a reward, always pick it up. This dice will randomize your current curios and gives you the chance to get new ones. In addition to Simulated Universe, there are the extra game modes that it has. For example, Storm Disaster offers a ton of Jade, however doing a run of it can take roughly 20 to 30 minutes. It's kind of similar to Currency Wars. It will take a lot of your time to complete it, but it can offer a good amount of Jade. But because this is a timed challenge, I only did one run of each Simulated Universe game mode for the first time completion bonus. Okay, before we move on, I find it funny that you can skip the tutorial for these game modes, but for some reason, you are forced to do the 30-minute long tutorial that Currency Wars has. Again, I love doing Currency Wars, but it really needs a faster battle speed or a tutorial skip because whenever I play, I always end up looking at TikTok or YouTube. Next up on my list was to do the newest planet. I'm not gonna lie, I felt lost. Roughly 21 hours trying to get as many pulls as possible was finally taking its toll on me, and seeing the new stuff from this planet felt like a fever dream. Dude, what the hell is happening? I couldn't do much exploration because I was running out of time and I still had to do Forgotten Hall. All I could do was grab chests that were near the story. But if you want a quick summary of the things you can grind for Jade, I recommend doing the Mario puzzles and the Floating Grease Origin because both are pretty quick and easy to do. However, just like Amphoreus, there are no trotters. But they did add something much better, the Furbo. These little guys will play hide and seek with you, and if you find them, they will give you 40 Jade. I would like to mention that if you are willing to spend a good amount of your time, I would recommend looking for the nameless cubes that are in the area. Again, I personally wasn't able to do much of this planet, but if I had more time, the things I mentioned before would be the only things I would grind. After 23 hours, the new planet was finished and the story for the game was completed. However, this doesn't include the event story quest, but I'm not going to count those. At this point of the challenge, I was feeling great. I no longer had to press the story skip button and I finally felt free. But why does it feel like I'm forgetting something? Oh my god, I still don't have a second team for Memory of Chaos. After roughly 20 minutes of autoplay, I managed to make 2 teams. The first was the Kafka team I used while doing the story. I failed to get Black Spawn for this team because my RNG during this challenge was pretty bad. The other team is... I can't even explain this, dude. I had no other characters. But I feel like I'm not going to beat Forgotten Hall at this point. Moving on, I got all these characters level 60 or 70. The main DPS on each team had their traces fully maxed out. My supports, on the other hand, don't have anything max level because I ran out of fuel. Okay, now it's time to see if all of that grinding was worth it. Can I beat Forgotten Hall? Probably not, but it's gonna be fun. Okay, one small issue. I forgot how easy it was. This is endgame content back in 1.0 and new characters can just destroy it now. Even the team I made with a box of scraps was able to zero cycle it. After I completed Forgotten Hall, it gave me over 3000 Jade. At this point, you have probably noticed that the challenge is almost done. To be honest, I didn't do anything special for the last few minutes. I just went searching for leftover trotters for easy Jade. Not gonna lie, after Amphoreus, it felt like I was walking through a desert, and instead of seeing hallucinations of water, it was my bed. I'm very tired. With the Jade I got from Forgotten Hall and the last minute farming, I had roughly 20 pulls. I want to end this challenge on a good note so that I could sleep well. I didn't get anything. By the way, here's the pull tracker during this challenge. I was in the bottom 2% for both 5-star and 4-star luck.
What the hell is this?
But yes, you can get 300 pulls in 24 hours. This game is very friendly to free-to-play players. And just in case, here's the total amount of standard banner pulls I got. I could do a clickbait title saying that this challenge was technically 400 pulls in 24 hours, but I won't. And just to show that this challenge was real, here's the footage of the daily login screen to show that yes, I did play for a not so healthy amount of time. Also, here's the shop to show you that this was entirely free to play. I thought I should mention that I did not touch any of the quest and the side story missions. I also barely touched the events, so there is a ton of extra Jade that you can grind. I'm not gonna lie, I do have a challenge idea in the future because of this, but for now, I'm going to sleep. GG.